schools might also have to think differently, and schools might also have to have a B school mindset in terms of, rather than only preparing kids for college, should a school also start thinking about preparing kids for the workplace?
What is missing in education is the application of the concepts that we are telling them. And that's where the excitement comes. Okay. Eventually, every application goes, I mean, whether we like it or not, every application goes for making money. You call it a non-profit organization, works for profit. Corporates definitely work for profit. Okay. Even an NGO somehow has to manage money, right? Everything eventually boils down into application of the concept.
Hi, with me today we have Feroz Dsilva,
Yep.
who is who has been a professor of data science.
Yes.
Would you like to share a little bit about your past experience and what you've done?
Yes. So by education in analytics and by profession, almost 3 decades in the field of data and analytics. The last 10 years, I've also been involved with academics, teaching business analytics subjects to MBA students. Okay. And recently, I've also used the same skill set into the world of finance. So right now I'm an empanelled SEBI trainer. Okay. Happy to share whatever knowledge I have, whether it's on data, analytics, finance, with whoever is ready to listen.
Incredible. Just wanted to check with the fact that you've been teaching in B schools and MBA schools. I've always felt like B schools are always at the cutting edge because they're so close to the workforce. Like the next move that somebody does after a business school, it is at in corporate. It's so. I feel that if there's any educational institution that is that wants to be updated when it comes to corporates, future of work, and things like that, I think it is B schools. Is at least that is the theory that I have. But do you think now schools might also have to think differently, and schools might also have to have a B school mindset in terms of, rather than only preparing kids for college, should a school also start thinking about preparing kids for the workplace?
Yes. Uh, Let me give a story on this. Okay. So I think my daughters were around maybe 6 or 7. And that's the time when they are taught about multiplications of 2-digit numbers, right? And I found them struggling making squares of anything which was double digit. A simple thing like a 13 square or a 16 square. Okay. They were good with single digit squares. Up to 9 square, 10 square is okay, right? And then I told them, do you know what is a plus b square? And they knew that. Okay, for whatever reasons, they knew a plus b square is a square plus 2ab plus b square. So I said, then 16 square is what? 16 square is 10 plus 6, the whole square. Okay, so now what is 10 square? They know that. What is 6 square? They know that. I said, keep it in your mind. Now, what is 2 into 10 into 6? They know that. I said, total them up. They could do that. And then I found them spending possibly the next hour or hour and a half playing a game among themselves where one person used to say a 2-digit number and the other one is doing the squares. And then I realized that what is missing in education is the application of the concepts that we are telling them. And that's where the excitement comes. Okay. Eventually, every application goes, I mean, whether we like it or not, every application goes for making money. You call it a non-profit organization, works for profit. Corporates definitely work for profit. Okay. Even an NGO somehow has to manage money, right? Everything eventually boils down into application of the concept. Okay. Now, the earlier you bring down that application, the more the students will appreciate what is being taught in the classroom. And when they start to appreciate, the interest automatically comes up. Okay. So that I believe uh, business schools, if you see the trend, they are slowly moving away from the universities. One of the reason is because universities don't allow them the freedom to upgrade their curriculums. So I have worked with two universities where we have launched a MBA program in business analytics, and the primary reason was because they were not allowed to adopt a certain latest subjects, right? Even something as simple as a bot or a chat bot, right, is not part of the curriculum of most MBAs. And then when they get into the corporate world, obviously they lack that skill set, which makes the corporate, get their ROI. When somebody recruits somebody, you're paying a salary. That's an investment from the corporate. And if I cannot get an ROI from month one, it's an investment that eventually goes out. So to answer your question, the the threshold is coming lower and lower. And what I saw today in the exhibition, I was very impressed because the threshold is now coming lower and lower. And I was impressed to see a class 3 or a class 4 student talking about money management for his parent who's a vendor of vegetables. Okay, something that we could never think would be a problem to be solved. But that kid there is now looking at an application. He's obviously gone into the AI world to see how that can be resolved because that was a theme today. He's far away from a solution, but he's now down that path. Okay, so that was the beauty of it. So yes, now schools will have to morph, and at the speed at which the transitions are happening, this morphing has to happen faster and faster. Okay, is that we are at an influx point. So if you continue teaching the ABCs the way they were taught in the past, you're probably graduating outdated skill sets.
That's crazy, right? Because earlier, when you and I went to school, we had to study every part of that problem to be able to create a solution. Not just thinking कि मुझे एक solution चाहिए, but we had to literally know every step, if you know what I mean, right?
Yes.
But today, do you think, I mean, that's also a question that I'm thinking. Maybe today, just having a almost like just a will to help my father in that problem, even if I don't know all the steps of the solution, um, leaning into AI, a solution almost might come through at least a version one, as you said, they're far away from a solution, but they're on that direction. I think it is going to change education in some way. I mean, honestly, I'm confused, but I know there's some power there, you know?
So I think what AI has allowed us to do. Let me build another analogy. Okay, so I keep on building these analogies, but it's easier to explain that way, right? Uh, if you look at all the classics in literature, pick up any of the classics. Okay, not just literature, drama classic, but any subjects. Okay, look at the profile of the author in the 1900s or the 1800s. Okay, the depth of these subjects were pretty shallow compared to today. And you will easily find somebody who's a master in multiple disciplines. Okay. So we talk about Newton as a scientist. Everybody knows what he did, right? Or what the apple did to him, whichever way you look at it. Okay. But do you know he was actually a finance professional?
No, I didn't know that. Really?
He was actually earning his day to day as a finance professional, right? So and the thing was, you look at any of them, you'll find somebody who's a medical professional, plus he's a finance guy, maybe he's a philosophy guy, plus he's a psychiatrist, okay, plus maybe he's a chemist with a physicist, with a mathematical, right? So that different perspectives that they had of different dimensions gave the richness to the literature, which is something that we refer to even today. Okay, but then came the thing where when we grew up, for us it was all about mastery of one subject, which was how our generation was, right? Now each subject ka depth has kept on increasing, but for us, because we didn't have tools like the AI tools today, we had to do everything manually, which comes back to your question. We had to learn every step. We had to master every step of a particular discipline to become something that can be useful, to build something that can be useful to solve the problem, right? today the depth is so much. Fortunately, they have AI, and I have seen younger students quickly adapt AI because now they know that with AI, whichever tool you use, doesn't matter what tool, okay, the approach is such that now they know that they can span across disciplines without becoming a master of any of them. And you look at the kind of solutions that the kids are thinking about, okay, they are still in the thought pattern. We still are probably a few steps away from seeing a practical, or to talk from a money mindset, a commercially valid product that we can take to the market, right? But that's not the objective of today's event. The thing is, if you look at that, they're talking of finance, they're talking of marketing. Some of them are even talking about human mindset, which I don't know. I'm not I mean, I know it's everybody uses that word as psychology. Okay, I don't know what it matters, but just to sound very intelligent, I'll use that word. Okay. So some students, I mean, look at the solutions they're talking about. They're talking about human mindset. They're talking about problems. They're talking about human relations. They're talking about finance. They're talking about logistics. They're talking about all this without actually, delving deep into the subjects. And these are students in grade 6 and 7, and they have used AI, and they're talking about topics which are going across multiple disciplines and designing a solution which they are presenting today at various stalls. I think we had almost 40 plus stalls.
Yeah, 51 stalls
Yeah.
today. Yeah.
Okay, I missed a few of them. I mean, we ran out of time, but yes.
But I like what you're saying because there used to be all these sentences, jack of all trades, master of none. Almost like in our time, we were discouraged of-
Yes.
to be, becoming a generalist was like, what do you mean generalist? Only one general manager needed in a hotel. That's it. Everyone else needs to be.
A specialized.
Yeah. But the GM was the highest paid guy, by the way. Like they always like almost knew everything. Um, and when I was in school, I used to start getting this Chip magazine and PC magazine, Wired magazine, all these things. And I used to read all these magazines when I was in eighth standard. I didn't understand anything, okay, but I kept reading, and I think that kept a certain fire in me, a certain curiosity in me to learn more and more. So I think even if as a school educator, it's okay if they don't learn it or master it or anything, but at least they are hooked on to something which they can slowly uncover over time. I think that has value.
See, it's
For example, the way you're such a master when it comes to finance.
not yet. Not yet.
I mean, yeah, I consider you to be a master. And every time I meet you, I'm trying to uncover a little more. I'm asking questions. Every time I see something in the news or I read something in the papers. Yesterday, someone told me about a covered call. So I said, yeah, next time I meet Feroz, I want to ask him questions about what is a covered call, what is not a covered call, how the US markets play out differently than Indian markets. One of my friends said, "Arey, India mein abhi koi value bacha nahi hai. I cannot do any great value creation. I am moving all my money to the US." Another friend in the same breath told me once you put money there, it'll never come back. All these things. And but that curiosity I have maintained. If I want to be a master of it, I may have to go and do a finance, a 2 year degree in finance. I mean, how many degrees will we all do? So to a certain extent, I love what you're saying, that it's okay for kids to wander around different subjects.
Yes, that I believe that's where the solutions come. Okay, so I used to have a few blog posts where I said, sometimes the solution to a sales problem might be in the HR department. Okay, a solution to a service problem might be in the marketing department. Okay, it's that's the cross functional thing, and which is what I saw today. Actually, when I look at it from that lens, this is what I saw. So I remember that I think it was a class 3 student, and I asked her, what's the problem you're trying to solve? And she was very clear. She's saying that I'm trying to make a to-do list to plan birthday parties. And I said, but and, why do you think that's a problem? Okay, like, because I mean, she didn't actually say parents, but he says because people at home do not know how to plan a birthday party.
Ah, yeah.
Okay,
And birthday parties are
I said
important for
birthday
kids.
parties
Yeah.
are just cakes, chocolates, a few snacks, maybe a balloon.
See, there, you don't know how to plan a birthday party.
Yeah, and then she said no. And you're forgetting we need decoration, we need this, we need that, we did that. And nobody has a list about it. So this is the solution that will help you make that list. So basically, she's saying that this is a solution that will help you to make sure my birthday party is good.
Incredible.
Okay. But to that kid, that's a very critical problem. Okay. So I used to enjoy giving a point and click camera to my daughters when they were, I don't know what age, but I remember they were 2.5 feet tall. Okay. And the kind of pictures they used to click was a completely different perspective. Okay. I saw that today. I am here selling AI solutions, okay, to big corporates, trying to make $1 million projects out of it. And I never thought that as simple thing as, planning a birthday party can be a problem. And I saw that today. And this is just one example. Okay. I saw the vendor solution. I'm coming back to it. Actually, that's the ad which drew me to this event. Actually, when I saw that ad and I said, "Boss, this is what," and I reposted it on my LinkedIn. I said, "If if you want to know how kids, I'm going there to learn from kids. You guys also come, right? I don't know how many people turned up, possibly few of them, but today I did come to learn from kids. I didn't come to show them what I know, and I'm going back learning quite a few things from them. Okay, some solutions which I never thought would be a problem. And when there was this girl or a team actually who was presenting about how teachers can create complex questions to test on the subjects. And to tease them, I just asked a question: "Do you really want your teachers to learn that?" And I said, "Who in your school do you think, which teacher knows this?" And she goes like, "Anyone who's done the research." I'm like, "Okay, how are you preparing for it?" And she's like, "I'm going to use the same tool to learn how to address complex questions." Okay, this was, I remember, an analogy in business life where we were undergoing a training on how to negotiate as salespeople. And then in the break, we asked the trainer, I said, would you think, I mean, if you are teaching us this, wouldn't somebody be teaching the procurement guys how to negotiate with sellers? He says, yes. I said, who? I said, I do that. So, so I saw that today. The same AI can be thought as making life complex for the student and making it easier for the teacher by creating complex questionnaires. And the same AI, the student is looking at how does it prepare me to address those complex queries that I know my teacher is researching using the same tool. Okay, that's a beautiful way of how the teacher student relation is evolving. It's not a competition, it's not one replacing the other. It's a tri-party, a bilateral is now become a tri-party arrangement, right? So that's
Incredible.
some beautiful way I look at it.
It's so nice to see that kids have problems, and it's even nicer to see that they're trying to find solutions with whatever resources they have.
I would say it's not kids have problems. Kids have a different perspective of identifying problems which we don't see it as problems.
Yeah.
And now that I look at it, I think there was a few problems that are pretty genuine, right?
Yeah.
Like the birthday party.
Yeah.
I never thought that was serious
It's
because
important for her. Yeah. And so I think what do you think? You think more schools should do Pad AI and AI expose and get kids to really start playing around and tinkering around with these technologies?
yes, I'll tell you what I saw different here. Okay. Uh, some of the expos are usually about showcasing what they know about the tool. Today I did not see anybody demonstrating a tool. I saw them telling what is the problem, what they think the AI can solve, and how it can solve. They don't know the what. They don't have a product to show, but they have identified a problem and they know that it can be resolved. Okay. Uh, I think every school should have that approach. Like I said, eventually the application of the concepts that they're learning, whether it will draw down into a mathematical concept or a physical concept or a chemical concept or a biological or a natural. There was this weather forecasting. I mean, come on, weather forecasting is a well-known field, right? But the way the students were looking at it, the way they were looking at weather was completely different. For them, they redefine what weather forecasting would be, right? So it's a different way of learning by applied function. So yes, every school should look at this. It's not about learning ChatGPT or learning any tool. It's about why you're learning that tool. The learning can come on anytime. Learning can come on later also. But if you don't know why, and that is what I saw today, students finding certain problems, not bothering how big that problem is, and knowing that AI can solve it. They even have some tools. Okay, they have done their research. They
They
know,
have
okay,
hope, right? They
these
have hope.
they have hope. Yeah, you have built that hope. Now the challenge is yours. The challenge is how do you keep it like keep the fire going.
Incredible.
It cannot be a one time activity.
But just wanted to say thank you for coming to Pad AI and really engaging with all our students, because while visitors come to see something, the real learning happens when children meet incredible people like you, engage with you and learn to do that to and fro and answer questions and kind of figure out, like, so many times I heard kids say things like, can you repeat that question? And I was like, wow, rather than ignoring a question, they were like, bring it on. I want to hear that question. And I could see them try to work it out and try to reason with you and stuff. So yeah,
Actually,
thanks.
I am thankful. Okay, when I saw the ad of that student trying to solve a problem of his father, who is a vegetable vendor, where a lot of people take material on credit, and the poor guy doesn't know how to make a note of it. He's not an accountant, right? And that is what drew me to this event. So it's I am thankful to you for organizing this because I came to learn, and I'm going back slightly more learned and educated than what I was 3 hours back.
Brilliant. Thank you so much, Firoz, for coming to Pad AI and St. Willie Broads. And we hope that we can continue to learn more from you. And we hope that you can also share ways and means for us to do more events like these, because the kids in our care need every caring adult to take care of them, right? So that's it. Thanks so much.
My pleasure. Thank you.